Welcome back. Before we get into today's story, picture this. Someone standing at the very edge of a vineyard terrace just after sunrise. Below them, nothing but open air, and then far down, the sea. One wrong step and there's no catching yourself. Now picture something else entirely. A diver, kicking slowly downward through clear blue water, the light fading with every meter until a shape comes into focus on the sea floor. Rows of clay jars resting where someone deliberately put them. Two completely different worlds, one thing in common. In both of them, someone decided that making wine the hard way was worth it. That's what we're exploring today, and why, again and again, the hardest conditions seem to make the most interesting wine. If you didn't catch the shorts this weekend, here's a quick catch-up. On Friday, we visited Cantine Marisa Cuomo, a winery in the village of Terroir on Italy's Amalfi coast, where vines grow on terraces carved into a limestone cliff 500 meters above the sea. No tractor has ever touched these vineyards. Everything happens by hand because there's simply no other way to do it. On Saturday, we went to Croatia, to the Plavac Peninsula, where a winery called Adriatic Sea seals red wine inside clay amphorae and sinks them onto the deck of a shipwreck in the Adriatic Sea, where they stay for up to 2 years. Today, we're asking the obvious question: why? Why would anyone choose to make wine this way when easier options clearly exist? Let's define our terms, because extreme gets used loosely in wine marketing, and I want to be precise about what it actually means here. Most of the world's vineyards are planted somewhere reasonably forgiving. Gentle slopes, manageable weather, soil that a tractor can drive across. An extreme vineyard breaks one or more of those rules on purpose or out of necessity. Impossible gradients, no flat ground anywhere. Extreme heat, extreme cold, no irrigation, no soil to speak of. Or in Croatia's case, no land at all once the wine leaves the press. That's the real definition of extreme here, not a marketing word, a literal description of the labor. Here's the part that surprises people. Difficulty isn't just something winemakers tolerate. In a lot of cases, it's the entire point. A vine that has everything it wants tends to grow lots of leaves and lots of large, watery grapes. Pleasant enough, but often diluted in flavor. A vine that has to fight for everything behaves completely differently. It sends roots deeper, searching for water and minerals. It produces fewer grapes and smaller ones. And because the vine's energy gets concentrated into less fruit, that fruit tends to be richer, more intense, more layered. The vines aren't comfortable, and that discomfort is doing a lot of the work in your glass. There's a second, more practical reason extreme vineyards often produce excellent wine, and it has nothing to do with the soil. It has to do with who's doing the picking. On a slope like the ones in Terroir, a mechanical harvester simply can't operate, so every single grape is picked by a human hand, one cluster at a time. A person walking a terrace can see an unripe cluster, or a damaged one, or one touched by rot, and simply leave it behind. A machine moving down a row at speed can't make that judgment call. It takes everything in its path, good and bad together, and sorting happens later, if at all. Now let's talk about Croatia, because the underwater story raises a different kind of question. It's not about how the grapes are grown, it's about what happens after the wine is already made. Now, the science on underwater aging is young and is genuinely debated. What we can say with confidence is this: a stable, cool, dark, vibration-free environment is good for aging almost any wine slowly and evenly. The floor of the Adriatic Sea happens to offer exactly that. Steady temperature, total darkness, none of the small daily vibrations a wine might experience sitting in a busy cellar or a warehouse. Whether the sea itself, the salt, the pressure, the literal ocean adds something beyond that stability is still an open question. But tasters who've compared Edivo's underwater-aged Novice Mysterium to the same wine aged normally on land consistently describe the underwater bottles as smoother, rounder, more integrated. Maybe that's the sea. Maybe that's just very good, very patient conditions. Either way, it's working. So, if you're interested in trying these wines, where do you actually start? If you can find one, a Costa del Amalfi white from any of the small producers along that coast. Tell your wine shop, Amalfi Coast, Italian white, Cliffside Vineyard. Most good wine shops with an Italian section will know exactly what you mean. If that's not available, a Croatian Plavac Mali is the easier find, and it'll still give you a real sense of what this region is capable of. Hope you enjoyed this story about hidden coasts and cliff edges. Follow for new wine short stories every weekend and longer ones every Monday.